For this WMAR 2 News Update, I'm Kelly Swoop. She ran Baltimore City's health department during some tough times. Through it all, public health has always been former health commissioner Dr. Leana Wen's passion. Now she's written a book about her time in Baltimore and how COVID-19 has changed the world we live in.
I wanted to show the world about all the great things that are happening in Baltimore.
Former health commissioner Dr. Leana Wen is sharing a side of Baltimore that doesn't make the headlines. In her new book, Lifelines, she talks about her time running the health department and her determination to keep the focus on public health.
Public health works when it's invisible. We have prevented something from happening.
From 2014 to 2018, Dr. Wen took on everything from healthy babies to the opioid epidemic.
So what you do is you position the head
by training the public to save lives, declaring addiction as a treatable disease.
What is the face of someone who could have died from overdose if not for the Narcan, the opioid antidotes that they got? And so I wanted to put the face on public health and really tell that story. So to let people know about the life-saving and life-changing impact of public health.
Her family came to the U.S. with only $40. As a child growing up in China, she saw public health fail. Stories that would shape her desire to become a doctor, like when she watched her 7-year-old neighbor die.
And I could see that Tony was having an asthma attack. Well, I had asthma. I thought, let me check the inhaler. His inhaler was empty. I got my inhaler. He was still struggling to breathe, and I could see that fear, and I knew that he needed help in a way that we couldn't provide in the home. But his grandmother was too scared to call 911 because his family was undocumented.
Wen also believes public health is tied to crime.
It doesn't work to incarcerate people who have the disease of addiction. If people have mental health issues or are experiencing homelessness, we should address these social needs, not put them into jail.
Freddie Gray didn't have to die!
In 2015, the death of Freddie Gray brought riots, unrest, and another challenge for the public health system.
We, as the health department, had to work with police and the fire department to figure out how patients were going to get to their medical appointments. We didn't know even which doctor's offices were still open, or there were patients who needed chemotherapy or dialysis, and some of those centers were closed, and so helping people to navigate that. And then we also saw that at least 12, 13 of our pharmacies were burned down, looted, or closed.
Her book about Baltimore was written in February 2020. Then came COVID, and that meant a rewrite.
COVID-19 is the ultimate failure of public health. You have a contagious disease that has decimated our economy, that's prevented children from going to school, that has led to so much worldwide destruction and death because we didn't have the infrastructure in place.
While there's been progress with the vaccine, the crisis over COVID isn't over. And as a mother of 2 young children, she worries.
This cannot be framed as a matter of individual choice. It's not just the people who are choosing to be unvaccinated who are getting ill. We're also talking about our unvaccinated children. We're also talking about immunocompromised individuals and people with chronic medical illnesses who are more likely to get the Delta variant and to become severely ill as well. But then there's also this disinformation on top of that that's made them not make the choice to protect themselves and their families.
Now, Dr. Wen and her family are very invested in Baltimore. They've made this city their home. So just like you and me, she's very concerned about the crime and other systemic issues facing the city. She worries that other public health issues aren't being addressed. For example, overdoses up 30%. Recovery built on relationships, and during this time of isolation, we've all been on lockdown. You can find the book Lifelines on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, just to name a few. Stick with us online for updates on top stories and breaking news, and also for news and weather while you're on the go. Download the WMAR 2 News app. You can watch live radar and get breaking news sent straight to your phone.
This WMAR 2 News update is sponsored by Jones Junction,